Mary, would you pull that door too, please?
They are in there.
Just a little bit, I won't give you the benefit of the doubt, give you another minute. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I've given Mr. Bloodworth ample time, I think, to call this meeting to order. Mr. Griffin, I'm going to ask you if you would please give the invocation.
Let us pray. Our God and Father in heaven, thank you for this day. Thank you for allowing us to be here to take care of our sick business, watch over us. Give us wisdom, knowledge to take care of the issues we need to take care of today. All these things we ask in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Let's stand and pledge allegiance to the flag of our nation. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gentlemen, you've got the agenda before you.
Before we get started on that, I would like to take this opportunity to commend Ms. Walsh for her recent inquiry into the CNN. I know that by working for CNN, it's the only ones that get to put out fake news. And we know that you have done that on Facebook.
Gentlemen, the agenda is before you. I entertain a motion that we approve the agenda.
I'm going to make a motion.
Mr. Griffin has made a motion to approve the agenda, and it's seconded by Mr. Johnson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the agenda and our work is cut out for us. Okay, Mr. Johnson, I think you want to be the band director on this one, and our crew leader. How about you getting started?
Okay, I appreciate the mayor and my fellow commissioners. I asked them and talked to the accountant and mayor the other day. I thought about some topics that we have went over to each councilman. I've talked to him before. And to let our city know that we're getting ahead of what's going on. These are a few talking points that I want y'all just to think about. To those commissioners, well, to them for to look at.
So we have two.
And these points are hiring, purchasing, order, engagement between the board and the head of the departments, and the check and balance system between clerk, mayor, and this council. And when we went to Brunswick, to this board, if we stick to what we went to down there, we'll get everything in order, everything will be in line, and we must get it right, get back to it. My concern is, I think this year will be perfectly fine, but coming up next year, we don't get it straightened out. That is my concern, that things will start bothering us when it come up beginning of next year. So I think we have to go back and redo some things and get them in line now. And I did talk with the city accountant, and I was hoping she would be here tonight, and things that we need to work on. So I talked to each of y'all, and I wanted to try to just have a fireside chat with that. The board needs to be dealing with hiring, because we had a point that one time there would not be any hiring. And then all of a sudden we was. Purchasing, we need to know about the purchasing, because no matter whether it's in the budget or not, if you know you might be in the budget, but if you ain't got the money for it, you can't buy it. You cannot buy it. Engagement with the department heads. Department heads has I think the mayor talked to us one time before about the different commissioners being over the department. We have to be over them, but they have to communicate with that department, that commissioner that is over it. Then the clerk, the mayor, and the accountant has to reconcile those books and give us a report. Just because I want to buy something don't mean that I can get it. You understand what I'm trying to say? And no matter what department it is, even if it's budgeted that I can get it, the money may not be there at that time. So the clerk, the mayor, they have to get together with the accountant and then pass it to us whether we can get it or not. We have to tighten our belts with that. And I think if we stick to what we went over down there in Brunswick the first time, we will be perfectly fine. But we got likes and got away from it, and I think that's what has happened. But to the citizens, it looked bad, but I think that it's not as bad as it seems. Okay?
Okay. Councilman, anybody else?
Well, the thing, we are, the hiring part of it and everything else, we need to hire people, we don't know what the needs are. Yes, they need to take and speak to their commissioners and whatever else. I agree with that 100%. Purchasing and purchase orders, just because it's in the budget, I agree with that. We need to take and be be more proactive. Go back to where any purchase order and whatever else, it's got to be signed by the commissioners before it's ordered. Now, there's things such as pipe and things like that we know we have that are supplies that we really need to take and have on hand to take and work with. Those things there, the department head needs to put it out there, but like I said, still with the cost of it and everything else, the council still needs to take and approve it. But things that are paid for out of splots, things that are paid for out of general fund or water and sewer or whatever else, we still need to have the accountability to where the dang council can approve it and everything else. Doesn't need to be, well, we're going to buy this, and the mayor goes in yonder and tells Bernice to sign a check, and this is what's going to happen. We don't need to be doing that. Things like that, they don't need to happen. Bernice just needs to tell him no in that case. Now, that's my opinion and everything else. We can't continue to take and operate as such. We can't continue to take and operate without the PO system and whatever else, and just, well, I got a PO, I'm going to go ahead and get this. Is it a need or is it a want? And there are needs out there that we got to have. And this coming over here and turning in a stack of invoices and everything, and well, here's my invoices, this is what I got. The council don't know anything about it until we get a bill to pay. We can't continue to operate like that. And I mean, that's my opinion. I mean, just because you want it, well, it's in the budget and I gotta have it and whatever, no. You need to take and actually look at these budgets that we have, look what we have coming in, look what we've got going out before we decide to take and purchase it. There's emergencies that arise, things like that, then I think, you know, if it's an emergency situation, we can poll the council and go from there. But the thing about it is we have to take as a council and be able to take and hold the department heads accountable. We have to hold the mayor accountable. We have to hold ourselves accountable to our constituents and everything.
If we're not doing that, and we're not trying to take and get any better at it, we're not gonna take it, nothing's gonna change. Unless we put some teeth into it, and we can go back to putting it in there, if you want it, you better submit it and everything before you buy it, and that's the way it needs to be. That's my opinion. Because like I said, walking in and handing Bernice or Lori or whoever a stack invoice and saying, this is the stuff we got. No. We need to take and know what's going on. We need to know what you're purchasing, and some things, we may just have to tell you, no, you have to hold on. That's just the way it works. I mean, there's a difference between needs and wants and niceties. There may be some niceties that would be really good to have, but they're not needs. There may be some wants, but they're not needs. If you don't need it, I mean, you can't just buy it and say, here's the invoice, let's pay for it. We don't have the money to do stuff like that. I mean, that's where the engagement with the board and the department heads and everything come into play. And like I said, the bottom line of it is when we have projects going on and we have no accountability and the council finds out about it after the fact, we can't do anything about it then if the money's spent. That's the bottom line. We can't do anything about it. Now, at that point right there, department head, whoever it is, we're going to have to hold them accountable. One way it's going to have to come out, and we're going to have to hold them accountable. I don't care who it is. We don't need this more. I mean, these are the things that I see. And when I'm sitting here and find out we spent X number of dollars for something out of X number of fund, and nobody on the council knows anything about it until it's done, that ain't accountability. That's just, let's do what I want to do or do what we want to do and be done with it. We don't care what the council thinks at all. That ain't the way it works. Now, y'all can, as department heads and everything, you can tighten your belts a little bit. You can take a look and see what you need, what you don't need. And you need to be talking to who your commissioners are. And you need to take and make sure it's a need and not a want. And it needs to come before the council. That's my opinion. And like I said, giving us a bill after it's spent, that ain't do it. That ain't do it. We got to know what's going on. The check and balance system and everything else. This lady right here has to put her name on the check. She does all the accounting and whatever else. Well, our accountant does the actual bookkeeping and whatever else, but she knows what comes in, what goes out, what we need to do and what we don't need to do. And I don't think we took and hired her because she's an idiot or anything. I'm pretty sure we hired her because she has fiduciary responsibilities, which is what all of y'all should be looking at too, as well as us. We didn't just put her in a job and tell her, hey, here, pay this, I don't care how you find it. That ain't the way it works. It needs to be discussed, needs to be brought out in council, and then we'll go from there. But like I said, that goes for Dwayne, myself, Mr. John, the mayor, and Mr. Bloodworth. Don't matter. It is what it is. If we don't take and have a complete council consensus on what we're doing, we have no control at all. We might as well just go out there and buy what in the hell we want to. And that ain't the way it works. Now that's basically what's put us in the situation we're in right now. And it's a council decision. It's not an I and me. It ain't no one department head. It ain't the mayor. It's a council decision. We go talking about spending money, that's what it needs to be. Now, granted, we come in here and approve these bills after they've been paid and everything else. I don't know how we can take and go back to, I don't know how we can get to where we look at these bills before we approve and pay them or whatever else, how we can do it. I know people need their money by the 10th and whatever else. We meet in the third Thursday of every month. And I don't know how we need to go back and do it, but We need to sit down and figure out how to do that too, so we can take and have a lot more accountability other than just with these checks. The formality is that the checks are written, take a motion to pay the bills, we're done. I don't know how we need to go about it, but I think we need to take in, we need to sit down with our accountant and we need to find out what we can do, how we can do it. But like I said, it ain't just get it because you want it.
Well, if you think, we decided or we agreed down there, you got a clerk, you got a mayor, you got an accountant, the day-to-day operations. When those bills and things come in, she's there with that money to kind of know what you might have or whatever. We decided that those people would be handling this stuff. And somehow or another, we got lax with it, and I think that's what we need to go back to. And as I was talking with her the other day, everything is gonna be fine right now, and she thinks that it's gonna be okay coming up during the year, but I just want us to look now, because we was in good shape one time, and I think we still gonna be in good shape. But coming up the first of next year, if we don't get it straightened out, on down during the year, it's gonna hit us in the face. And like you said, what we was doing good, we just got lax with it. And we need to check back. I mean, it needs to be a check and balance system. You got those people in place to handle those things. And if things are gonna get out of hand, then they come to us and we get it straight. So I think these issues that I passed out to you is what we need to start looking at. Some things that has been done, we might have to go back and redo them. We may have to redo it over, because if we ain't got the funds to pay them, we can't justifiably pass it on to the public when we didn't know anything about it.
That's it.
So I think the county, the mayor, and the clerk, they have to get those bills straight before the commissioner, before it's brought in to be paid. We got to know that they can be taken care of right and give it to them. And everybody, it just cannot persist that everyone can just buy when they want to buy.
And it's like I said, we took and been awarded a $750,000 grant through CDBG and everything. And I'm gonna just throw this out there. We can't afford the match money for it. We can't afford to go to the bank and borrow $150,000 for match money for a $750,000 grant that we're gonna get. Now, there's options on stuff like that. We can take, and I don't know if what Phil will say about it or whatever else, we can get it in $300,000 block. If we can do that, there's no match to it, $300,000 or less. But we cannot afford to go get a $750,000 grant that we're going to have $150,000 of match money in and keep this city like it is right now. Now, would it be nice to have that $750,000 to do it? It would be. But now, wouldn't it be a lot nicer if we had the match money to go with it? And we talked about this when it happened. It's come down now, but we either need to do one of two things. Now, Mr. Carl, I had talked to you about it after it come down and whatever else. Did you talk to Phil?
I talked to Phil, we cannot.
We can't do it.
No, you
Okay.
have to either
Take the whole thing
750
or
not at
nothing
all.
up. Okay. And that's where we're at on that right there. We're not gonna have the money to take matches. And I took and brought this up when we applied for this grant, that we weren't gonna have the money to match it. And I knew that then because of the way everything was going. But I'm gonna tell you right now, if we get this money and we don't have that $150,000 to match it, we're gonna look bad next time it comes around for a CDGB and we haven't turned this money back in, knowing we don't have the money there to match it. We might not get enough. And I'm just putting that out there, and I want y'all to think about it before we take and decide, yeah, let's go get $750,000. We don't have anything to match with. So y'all need to think long and hard about that before we ever decide about going to get anything like that.
And let me insert something there on that match deal. You remember that the general fund is in debt tremendously to the water and sewer fund. The water and sewer fund is amply strong enough to handle the match without any problem whatsoever.
If we keep bleeding the water and sewer like we're doing right now, it ain't.
the water and sewer fund is thoroughly capable of handling the match for this $750,000. And we ought not need to be questioning anybody about whether or not we're gonna get it. We need to get over there and get the $750,000 and spend it on improvements for this city, because the water and sewer fund has the means of paying it.
See, I think that in those cases, if you got a match that way, again, the check and balance system works. You got an accountant, you got a clerk, you got a mayor that handles it. If I apply for it, let's say if I apply for the city and they have given their approval, well, the clerk and the accountant is gonna say, well, where's that match coming from? All the time, that match may not be financed. It may be in kind. But that's what I'm saying, the check and balance system is with those people, how you gonna handle it before we get it? So.
That's where we need to have our accountant in here to help us about this, instead of we just say, oh, they got it, let's go do it.
Right.
I mean, that's where we need her to take and talk to us and tell us, before we just go down yonder and go out on a limb and then turn right around and we take and get bit in the butt.
Well, and see, that's what we have gotten lax with. We decided down there when the city granted us permission to go to that retreat. All of us sat there and agreed that we were gonna do this, and somehow or another we got away from it. So I asked us to tighten our belts up and go back to it. It will work.
I wasn't at the Brunswick retreat, but I have a tendency to agree with you for the most part in all of these very good topics. Eric brought up, and Carl's information that you just told us, that we could not divide this thing up.
If we'd applied for the 300,000, we could have done it that way, but since we've been approved for the 750, Phil said that either you gotta take it or don't take it, because if we try to go back to them and try to reduce it back to 300,000, it's gonna make the city look bad, and it's gonna be harder to get another CDBG down the road.
I can understand, to save my life, why we would even suggest such a thing.
If Carl, at this point, whatever else, looking at where the water and sewer department's at and everything, and what we're doing, is the $150,000 going to be feasible to take and be there for the match? Is it going to be there?
As of right now, no, not right now.
Well, as of right now, according to what she gave me, as of just 2 or 3 days ago, we got the water and sewer fund is $360,680.94, and all the bills are paid.
That's what Mr. Bernice told me today. Now,
If everything clears the bank right now, we're gonna be $25,000 short.
Yeah, but the thing of it is, $211,000, that is the general fund. IOUs into that fund. The water and sewer fund, just because that money's not there, that's right, that's agreed. But the general fund owes water and sewer enough money that we've got water and sewer should have $360,000. And that's the general fund's responsibility to get it back. So water and sewer, and we've got this thing for water and sewer improvement for this city. We need it, and there's no question that it can be handled.
Well, the question is, can we come up with it without depleting another source? I see the thing in number 4 that you've got is a check and balance system where the mayor and the clerk both sign the check. The accountant does not assign the check. Do we need to put more teeth in that part of the accountant being responsible to initial, or do we need to put it more into account that you have a couple of the councilmen to sign off before we do something like this particular situation of going to get something that there is debate, let's say, on whether we got that money or whether we can get that money without destroying what else we've got. And while I'm running my mouth, like I said, I liked several of the things you've got. On the hiring, I agree with you, Eric, that we do need to hire those positions that we need. And particularly, I think we have 3 departments that are undermanned right now due to different reasonings of moving or whatever it might be. That would be a replacement hire. And I think we need to go with that. Additional hiring, I would question it highly. doing anything of that order. The biggest thing is number 2, is that of the purchase orders. We have got to stop buying and then signing up for a purchase order. It's gone and done. I put my name on one even this past week that was done. Now I'll have to justify, it was done before we had this meeting, before we were brought to knowledge that we were in deep water. But at the same time, it's typical of the situation that we've been doing, that we're signing after the fact, that it's already bought, it's purchased, it's in hand, it's been used, it's there, and we're signing to purchase something that's there. We've got to stop that. The number 3, the engagement of the board and department heads. I thought we had some pretty good communication, but if we tighten up on our situation with that of the purchase orders and getting a little more on communications, I think that can be improved very easily. And number 4, I commented on that one a while ago. That's the big boogaboo of the whole thing. You know, we've got to have some kind of checks and balances, that we do not overspend for any reason whatsoever. It does not need to be overspent at this time. We cannot continue to dig the hole when we're in a hole. The digging deeper is only getting us further in trouble. And we've got to stop the spending. I'll shut up.
Well, I say everything, Mr. Griffin and Mr. Johnson and Mr. Ramey and what I've tried to insert is all true. We have, at one time, this city's finances, not too many years ago, was well a lot better than it is now. Whether or not we like it and approve of a lot of things or not, there was a bunch of people stuck in every little. I remember about years ago, Hoyt Hagen was our church treasurer down at First Methodist Church. And Hoyt would he'd have folks like to spend, and he'd find a little cubby hole and he'd stick $1,000 here and $3,000 there and $5,000 over here. And then they'd ask him how much money. He said, well, I don't know. But to make a long story short, he made sure that the money was always there. He hung on to it like I don't know what. And we built all this nice facility this year. And the county went over that with us the other night and mentioned it. Everything we got here in these new facilities were paid for cash money. The police department, the new city courtroom over there, this thing right here, paid for cash money. Well, that depleted those reserves. I mean, but they didn't borrow any money to do it now. And but at any rate, this plowing back and looking and hanging on, we've been much too liberal with our spending. I'll be the first to agree with Eric and everybody. We've got to be more frugal. That's since we depleted those reserves need to be put back. And like I think it was Eric said a few days ago, we've had to take care of good employees, and I don't have any apologies for us giving some of the, we were very liberal. The accountant didn't like it, and she got on to me several times about it. She said, y'all are just too liberal with the raises you're giving your city employees. Well, I'm out every day. I don't spend a lot of time in his office, as these folks in here can tell you. And I'm out all over town, and I see these people. I see CDL drivers that's come in here that are honest and hardworking and loading and chaining down things and working, making a wage. It's just pathetic that a good, honest, hardworking man would be making the type of salary he was making. And me and some of the folks looked at it and we said, listen, that's not even just and right. And we've made some changes. We brought some, as a council, we all approved increasing our police officers up to a very lucrative wage. We're paying folks are not have to steal our police officers anymore. And we've done a lot of good things. And cost of living stuff, and it's tough. But I'm like Mr. Johnson down there now. Of course, let me tell you something. This line of credit we got, we've already dug into it, $190,000 for the general fund. And right now, when we got through with the, got to the down the end with the airport project, and we're not completely through with it yet either. We've got some winding up of that that's got to be done. But even to get down to the point that we could gracefully get our contractor satisfied with his work, I took the liberty, I shouldn't have. I'll admit that I perhaps, particularly since the council didn't like it, I knew that I had the contract for y'all, and y'all signed it for $150,000. And the man was crying, and Mr. Purser got back and said, "Why don't y'all need to pay the man?" Sitting back there about where Rhonda is back there now. And y'all, I was so nervous, I worked so hard, and the man got the job done. And I went in there, and first I talked to the accountant. I didn't do this by myself. I went and talked to Tammy, and Tammy, I said, "What in the world are we going to do? We can't pay the man, he needs his money." She said, "Well, you've got the line of credit. You've got the money coming in. It'll be in sometime fairly soon. That's what it's there for." And I pressed my butt down to the bank and got the money and paid the man, and he's happy. Now, we owe him some money. I talked to him in the last few days. He said, "Man, I'm not worried about that. When y'all get it to me." Of course, we got to pay him in Trinity as well. So we've got some left over. But let me tell you something. We're doing a lot of good here. We got some things happening that's good. And I agree with Mr. Dwayne's preface. It will tighten our belts, continue to serve our people well, watch our blooming spending. We've brought in, y'all, I don't know whether you know it or not, but we brought in not local money, but federal and state money out there at that airport to the tune of $6 million of federal and state money on that airport. And let me tell you what, our industries that are using it and going out there, they were thrilled to death with that $6 million. In fact, one, it was the key to them making some of the expansion they were doing. They told me, said, we were almost about to move until that happened. So we're doing some good things, and we don't like to get down too low, but for one thing for sure, we can't keep going now. I'm going to reiterate what Eric said. We can't keep going like we're going now. The water and sewer fund is fine. It's if you look at this report that you just got here this month and every month, the expenditures of the water and sewer department is, I say, $9 and the income is 10. The expenses are 9 and it's just gaining all the time. Thank goodness, or we couldn't get by. The general fund has used it, and that's one reason that he's got the question about the smashing. But anyway, all this can be worked out with this council. We've got to group everyone in here now. There was a time when sitting here on this council, somebody said they wouldn't say one single word, wouldn't offer opinion and try to add something to it. But we got a bunch here now, they all express their opinion. And you know what? That is good. That's the reason you're put here, to express that opinion. Now once we get here as grown men who all of us like each other, we don't have anything against one another. All we got to do now is get our heads together, be good managers, do what we need to do. We've got the department heads. The key ones are sitting right there in front of us right there now. They're all good men. They're working hard. They're here serving. Now we've got to get busy and put our heads together, tighten the belts, and do a good job. That's what we're here for. Now, that's the gospel according to Bain.
Well, I mean, I know we're getting we still have to, we still have some of the contractors out at the airport and everything else. Cody, so
We got the money coming in for most of that. We may have we've got you signed the contract for the one, if you remember now, the contract you signed the other day was for $150,000. What did the lady tell you last time you talked to her, honey? When that might be here?
Next week.
That money will be back in the line of credit next week.
okay,
We got some contractors that's been paid, and then we got some that have not. And I'm sure that they're questioning why they're not getting paid, the other guys are.
Well,
We need to take care of all or none
on an equal keel. That's exactly right. In fact, the one that they're referring to, and heck, I don't show any favor to all of them. Chad has done a tremendous job. The next money that we get in, we put the $100,000 back into the line of credit. that I promised to do, and that's what it was used for to get this done. The balance of that money should go to Trinity to get them, I think it'll like just a little, but I think I know where some money is that we can probably, with y'all's permission, that we can get to take care of that. So we should get Trinity completely paid for. Joey Hires said, Mayor, I know we finished the job, and I'm until you, anytime where you get where you can. So we got to take care of Croy. But now let me tell you something. Croy is on an ongoing basis our engineer, and as this money comes in, we've got 200,000 more SPLOST money coming into the airport than we've got committed for what we've done. So they know that as they on the ongoing things with the airport. There's another 200,000 coming in at the airport, and Croy, for them to be online and get, Cody, how much money did I tell you we paid Croy? 360.
Over 300,000.
360 something $1,000 in the last when I went up and got that contract with this airport, and I guarantee you there's some damn happy people to get that 360 something $1,000, and their ongoing was for the rest. So at any rate, the things that I've been involved in, most of the purchase orders and the purchasing now, since we have the system we do, Eric over in the water and sewer, and Dwayne Johnson is the street. Your name goes on that purchase order, and I don't even look at it, except if y'all approved it, it's okay with me. So I didn't have anything to do with some of these practices that y'all are talking about now. If your name's not, if y'all's name's not on it, I don't sign it, and I don't spend any money from general fund. All the money that I'm dealing with comes through the federal and state government on contracts that I've got, or SPLOST money. And let me tell you a little something about the SPLOST money that I've done. We get LMIG, Local Maintenance Improvement Grant. Every year, we sign it up, and y'all get your streets. Y'all make the list. I don't. I get with y'all, and y'all make the list. It's put together. When we come in with a LMIG contract, I have done it every since I've been mayor, right shortly after the beginning. Initially, I didn't understand it, but it didn't take me long to find out that when we come in with a LMIG contract for 6 or 8 streets, there's a real bad one over yonder. Somebody's fussing, man, why in the world don't y'all do something about it? Something over here. And what I'll do is take the LMIG contract and go and look and see how much money's in that SPLOST account, and add a little, to put a little help in to get that bad street worked in there. And I have, in times past, been guilty of going into that SPLOST account and adding to LMIG contracts. We already had a contract ran, and cement was being poured, and there was street, 1 or 2 little places, and add to that. Another thing that you'll find, Eric, and I haven't done it all the time. I make mistakes, and I try not to. But now, if you go back and check, the requisition form was never used for SPLOST. And if you'll go back and remember, I've gone to your business several times on SPLOST money to get, if it was something significant, to get everybody even to sign on SPLOST, which we never used it. We used it for the general fund. But if you remember, I've gone to you and got you to sign that. I should have gone to you and got you to sign the last one, but I didn't. You knew that we had entered into a contract for $350,000 to build 2 roundabouts. You knew that we had a grant for $250,000. You knew we had to pay the other 100. And it was in an old SPLOST account. And we were late paying the man. And I was nervous and hated it, that he had to wait again. And we were told we'd have our money when the job got through. The job got through, school started, we hadn't paid it. And we had the other 100,000 that we knew, if we had a meeting, y'all would have done the same thing I did. You just don't like it because I did it ahead of time. Well, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. But we all need to buckle down, tighten our belts, get this crap straightened out, and do our jobs. I'm trying to do mine.
It ain't got nothing to do with anything other than the fact that keep us out of the loop is wrong, and you know that. Yeah, you made a mistake, that's great, you committed that, that's all fine and well. It don't go back and fix anything that's done. I'm just telling you that straight out. Number one, that we never saw an invoice for anything. Nothing. So we'll leave it at that until later.
A little thing too, while we're getting that little kicking contest here, and I don't really mean to. I'm sorry. If I make a mistake, I'm sorry. I make them every day. When we got started with this thing, old Tommy Purser sat right there where John Ramey is on his last night here. He and Carl Hofstadter had worked their butts off getting those roundabouts together and getting them, and Carl and they carried that thing. I didn't. They carried it, got to Atlanta, and got $250,000 to build roundabouts. And I had already got a quote from Joey Hires that he could build. Well, we went ahead and Carl designed them and bid it out. They were $700,000 was the bid to build 2 roundabouts.
Mayor, that's irrelevant. We done been through this before.
That's
irrelevant.
Well, I've listened for some years that you listen to this.
Well, I'm telling you, it's irrelevant. You've done been through it about 3 or 4 times.
Well, you're gonna go through it one more time.
Let's just move on.
We got a bid for $750,000 to build 2 roundabouts. I said, Carl, we can't afford that. I sent the contractor and Carl together to let us get our heads together. We fooled around and got both roundabouts built and completed for $350,000. Now, I think you might ought to thank me for working around and getting you 2 roundabouts built for $350,000, and your low bid was $700,000. I've saved you $350,000, and you're walking on my behind. You ought to thank me.
We might want to delay the thanking you until we've checked out a few things yet. The roundabouts yet have not actually been paid for.
Like $15,000.
We still owe, I know we owe Hofstadter. But that's another problem. While we've got that, let's go back to and see if we can get some kind of conclusion on that, talking about that $750,000 we might could go get. Yes, I'd like to see us get some of the money we needed, but if we can't do the matching funds, we're cutting our own throat that's there. What can we do under this checks and balances system that we can get approval from our accountant that it can be done? I would also like to have Carl's approval, as he's saying that it's a departmental type situation. If it's coming from the water sewage area, we're borrowing and not paying back. There again, we're digging the hole deeper. Before we borrow it again, we got to have some means to make sure that we're paying these things back. I'd like to get some conclusion from the council as what we are going to do. Nothing, or are we going to try to make sure that we've got that money? If we're going to try to make sure we got that money, I'd like to have somebody say and show me where it's going to be done.
I think you deserve that, and we should do that too. That's perfectly laudable. The only thing that I will add to this now is the governor wrote us a letter, sent to me for council, that they had awarded us $750,000 to do water and sewer improvements in the city of Hazelhurst. We would be the laughing stock of every town and county in the state of Georgia if we refused this money.
The laughter would be louder if we can't pay it back. And
if this council can't figure out how to do that, we don't need to be here.
that might be true.
Gentlemen, really, again, all of this is, we are in good shape. Just
No, we're not.
Yeah, we are. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. The only thing we got to do is learn the communication, as I said. And as far as with the CDBG grant, if we've been awarded it, sometimes it's bad to be awarded and then don't accept, because not this where you look bad, you won't get it again.
Yeah,
so we don't want to do that. But this is where the accountant will come in and say, now wait, how are you going to do that? Some of that money used to be in-kind procedures. Some of that money used to be, we didn't have to come up with all cash match. I don't know how this one is. Sometimes it's cash, sometimes it's not. Sometimes You just got to have it in kind. So you see, this is why we have to have that communication before we act. But since we don't act, now let's say, okay, we into it, let's go ahead and get it. We don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot and turn it down. But to be at one another and not use wisdom to talk is not getting us in place. We got to work at what we got, dog. We got the system in place to do it. The accountant is there, she can help you. The mayor, he knows. And then we are trained. We go to those conferences. The city, the citizens, in their good grace, send us to have a certain amount of knowledge with these things. So now that we're in it, we are fine. We're going to be fine. So let's just head it off and get the accountant, get the clerk, get the mayor, y'all get together and sit down and communicate with the board. Let's don't keep going around. Everyone was saying the same identical thing. Same thing. And the only thing we're doing, with all due respect, Mary Ann, we're making money for you. People want to hear us do that, but this is a good council. I would you put it in the paper and the council is good.
Remember I said that as well.
We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine, and we're gonna learn to communicate. Learn to communicate together, and when we do, everything be all right. Okay.
I think the goal here is we got to get where general fund is operating on its own and quit digging into the water and sewer department. That's what our goal is. And by doing this garbage contract that's on the agenda later, that's gonna help some, but we're gonna have to start letting the general fund start working on its own.
In fact, don't put this in the paper. It's illegal for us to do it.
That's exactly right.
We are making a legal mistake for us to be taking and spending water and sewer money in the general fund. But somehow those are the good Lord and everybody involved let us by with it so far. And if they'll help us, we'll get it straightened out.
I think that we really stepping out, doing a lot.
Now, don't put that in the paper, Mary Ann.
It's already recorded, so it doesn't matter.
She ain't got to put it in the paper.
But that, again, you see, to the citizens, we're throwing things out. The people are not going to understand what you're saying. The county, clerk, the mayor, communicating with this board and handle it. Borrowing from somewhere to get this done, every city does it. Everybody. But they know they got people in place to handle it. You cannot sit here and do this for now. Again, I prayed and I brought it to my fellow board members and the mayor and the clerk and the accountant. We have to go back to what we did. Excuse me, y'all. I get coughing. I'm trying not to cough. Get back to what we decided down at the retreat. Stick to this, and we're gonna be fine. We need to go.
Okay, we just about hashed it out. I think we need to.
Let me ask Carl. I'm gonna put you on the spot. We're talking about that 750 that we wanted to get because we need it. We don't know whether we can get it. How much can we use in kind, or is that a possibility?
Yeah, that's a possibility. I don't know. I mean, it's according to what we decide we want to do. If we want to go there and help them, dig up the lines and, there's all kinds of stuff you can do with in-kind service.
But that in-kind, is there a percentage that can we do 100% of it in-kind? Can we do 50% in-kind?
I think it's 50% is the max.
Sometimes it's more than that. Sometimes it's more than that. It all depends on what the grant says.
That's why I think this is the 50%.
They will say exactly. Sometimes it's more than 50. So that's why I say your accountant would know it. They would know it. Would not mean to cut you off, Mr. Rain, but the accountant would know it. We sitting here, we're going over it. They would know exactly how to do that.
Yeah, when I talked to Phil the other day, the grant writer,
Phil and them
he's 50% is the max on the in-kind on this grant.
Okay.
is what he told me. And he said that was something that was an option we could look at doing.
Okay, gentlemen, do you want to carry this any further? I'll take your lead. You tell me what you want to do. You want to move to item number 5 or work on this some more?
Move to item number 5.
All agreed to move on?
Have we got any conclusions on that big discussion of the 750? I ain't gonna drop it until I wanna know something about it. What are we gonna do?
Let's take my opinion. Get, Mr. Al to come next Thursday night. And prior to that, have Carl, Bernice, her meet together, whatever else. Look at it. So we'll know where we're at when she comes in here and everything else. Y'all be versed, she'll be versed. She'll know what she can tell us and how it can be hashed out. We can make an informed decision as opposed to taking and just saying, yeah, we got it.
Informed decision is what we need to make in a decision like that. That's the reason I kept pushing to bring it back for us, that we've got to make these as informed decisions and make them as positive conclusions.
Okay, you want to do that? You want to do that during the work session? Is that you want to schedule that for the work session? Is that your suggestion?
Y'all can do it for a work session or whatever else you need to do on Monday night. If you want to bring her in then, I won't be here Monday night for the work session after work.
Who we talking about bringing in now?
And like I said, prior to that, taking and having Carl and the accountant and Ms. Lopez sit down, get us some hard facts, numbers, and go from there.
Well, I can tell you too, and let's work on it in the work. I'm sorry you're not going to be here. You want us to change the work session on your ahead?
I'm asking her, can she be here Thursday night?
And I mean, like I
So
said,
the meeting night?
Yes.
and we can do it on meeting night too, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let me share this with you too, that I can tell you. The thing that you're talking about, John, Alga, Assistant Local Government, our grant writer and administrator, administrates this thing, and they are authority. They're the reason we got this $750,000. They and the engineers put together. Your engineer and your grant advisor, those people know about how to work out this in-kind stuff. And of course, Tammy knows the books and where the monies are. So I think you need to rely a lot, and just to help you, since you're new here, I can tell you that your grant writer knows how this is to be administered, and they direct us to Bernice and everything, and we follow their leadership. So we've got good leadership with people that know how to handle this. And then Tammy, of course, is our local. She knows where every dollar is. But that's good. Let's work on it next week.
That's what I'm saying, is we need to use all of our resources and know what we got and where we're getting.
Let's decide among ourselves and y'all that we're gonna know where the matching money's, whether we're gonna do so much in kind and where the matching money's coming from before I go to LaGrange on the 10th and pick up that money.
I'll call Ken and turn the seed and field tomorrow and see if we can figure out what we can do as far as any kind on our part.
and if y'all have to and everything to take, and just so we've got everybody in the loop and whatever else, do a conference call.
Yeah.
Make them get on there. I'm sure they can do a four-way with y'all, find out what's going on. So we know where we're at between Phil, between Ken, between us and Tammy and whatever else, because it's all about making informed decisions. We don't do something like, if we don't start doing things better, it ain't getting no better. Almost that.
Eric, too, I on a conference call. In this particular case, I would say that they've got that Alga, Phil and his mother and their company is making enough money on this deal. We don't have to have a conference call. They can come sit right here with us. They make enough money. And also the engineers, we need to sit there and get our heads together. And since Tammy is here, they can come and get here with Tammy and us. And they don't need to be over the phone and not looking eye to eye. This needs to be an eye-to-eye thing.
That's fine. However we want to do it.
Okay, I think we've got worked it to death, y'all, but I think it's, we all wanted to be heard, and I think everybody's been heard. Are we ready to move on to number 5? Okay, pardon me?
Next.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Griffin, you gonna handle this EP footwear tax payment thing, deferment?
The payment deferment and everything, having spoken with Ms. Williams and everything, and the taxes that were in arrears because of the, I reckon, for the mishap that was done when the contract was written and everything else and signed up for tax deferment. Well, it wasn't done right. So, I mean, it winds up paying us in effect by a little over $50,000. Now, Ms. Williams has taken and they are willing to take and go ahead and pay us a 60% up front and everything, $30,019.87, and in 18 months come back at no interest and pay us the $20,013.25 they owe us. Now, I think we should go ahead and take care of this, and I think we should allow them to pay the 60% and in 18 months pay us the 40%.
You want to make that in form of a motion?
I'll make it in the formal motion. We allow that EP American Footwear pay us 60% of $30,019.87. In 18 months at no interest, they pay us $20,013.25.
Is there a second to Mr. Griffin's motion? Seconded by Mr. Ramey. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Okay, number 6. Lori, why don't you, are you dealing with that 6?
Actually, no, sir, I didn't have.
No, I'm talking to Natasha. Is that what you coming up
I
on?
just got the contract. Lori can come up here and tell you all that. I'm just gonna go through the
Wait,
contract.
no, honey, we're not on Ryland yet. We're on the.
No, I'm on the property.
Oh, you got a copy of that too?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Why is there a contract?
With Appalachian?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to sign a contract with them.
Well, I hadn't read it, so I'm kind of dumb on it.
No, I'm doing the contract part. You're telling them what you need.
What do I need?
You need to tell them what Cheryl said yesterday.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, she taught me when I was in the classes with GMA and Fitzgerald. And what she does is she works for a company that actually goes out and collects past due taxes. And if you'll notice, I think the mayor's got a copy. We got roughly $70,000 in arrears, all the different years combined. And what they do is they'll go and pick the top 100 largest taxes owing. Because there is only a small office in here and that we can only handle so much at a time. We're going to take the top 100 and she's going to go after the delinquent taxpayers, and any charges that is incurred will be incurred by the taxpayer, not the city. Now, the taxpayer will come and pay the city, at which time we'll turn around and pay Appalachian their portion of it. We'll get our tax money. Any extra fees or anything that Appalachian has set out, they will go straight to Appalachian from us. We will set up a chart of accounts, and that money will funnel into that chart of accounts, and we'll pay Appalachian straight out. We get our tax money, they get their fees, the taxes get paid. It's a win-win situation.
I believe also that you, or somebody made a statement that they predict that they can get 60 to 70%.
She predicts she could get roughly 60 to 70%.
In 6 months.
Good.
In 6 months, which means y'all, in this budget year, it'll bring in, if she does what she thinks she can do, it'll bring an extra $40,000 to $50,000 to us in this budget year. Lord knows we need it.
Now, Miss Susie has been using her for years. Now, Miss Cheryl did work with the Georgia Department of Revenue Collections Division, and she did jam up.
Susan, do you think she can generate with these taxes?
Yes, sir.
Pardon?
Yes, sir.
You think she can generate that 60% within 6 months? Well, Lord, I hope so.
Well, I mean, if they don't pay, I mean, it goes to a tax sale.
So we're gonna get ours.
Yeah, we're gonna get ours even back.
Right. So
Don't wanna
at
sell
the
anybody's
tax
stuff.
sale,
We got it.
Okay,
It
all right,
goes.
I like the sound of it myself. And and two, Lori works with our taxes here, and of course, we got the tax commissioner sitting there, and she certainly knows, and you recommended them too.
yes, sir, because I mean, actually, they send out the letters, because we don't have
We
to
get it
send
back and
out.
wait. She does all the legwork.
And then when you have to post the property before it goes to sale. They'll send somebody down, which me and Morgan always goes with them to post the property. But he's the one that gets out, posts the property, and then we.
But we've got the recommendations of both of our tax specialists right here, the county and with the city.
They
So
do.
you've heard that. Okay, well, Ms. Attorney, why don't you go ahead with that then?
You should have a copy of the contract that Appalachian presented yesterday for review. I reviewed it, everything's pretty straightforward as to what is required of the CD and what is required from them, and Lori laid it out perfectly. You know, we're gonna recoup, all of our costs through the tax sale and the penalties to, delinquent taxpayers. There's two things we need to do tonight. One, is approve the contract. And they said if we go ahead and approve it tonight, they'll start Monday morning collecting taxes. They'll start mailing out letters Monday morning.
She's already got the database.
She's already got that back. So, and second, we need to designate the deputy city clerk, which would be Lori Williams, as the levying officer for the city. Pursuant to the charter, the city council has to designate a levying officer. That's never been done under the new charter. So, and my recommendation is that Lori Williams handle all the taxes.
We'd be in order to have one of our members here to move that we appoint her as the levying clerk,
Levying officer for the city.
levying officer. And can we stop and do that now?
Yes.
Entertain a motion, gentlemen.
So moved.
Got a motion made by Mr. Ramey that we appoint Lori Williams as the levying officer, and it's seconded by Mr. Griffin.
Yep.
Pardon?
Yes.
You know, my house is gonna be 8, don't you?
Any further discussion?
Mine had to
Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in
You
favor,
could
say
talk
aye.
about.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion's carried. All right, Lori, Lori, now I want you to see if we get that 60% this year.
No, we still need to approve.
Oh, yes,
the
yeah,
contract.
yeah, we got to go over there.
No.
I want to
Mr.
play-
Chairman, I move to approve the contract as Natasha just read.
With Appalachian. All right, so second for that motion. Seconded by Mr. Griffin. All in, any further discussion?
What's the difference in this and 5A?
Oh, you still might have to go to a FIFA.
Yeah, 5A is part of the tax collection process. And by doing Lori as a levying officer, she will be the one signing the 5As on behalf of the city. And she needs to do it because she's got all the delinquent taxes up in her head. I don't know how we're gonna download her head to a computer, but we'll have to figure it out because she's got it all up there. But that's why she knows what's going on with the taxes. She needs to be the one who's the central person for it.
This is an attempt not to levy a FIFA.
Right.
Is to go through this collection agency and they charge the delinquent taxpayer their fees, and it doesn't cost us. If we were just gonna go to FIFA, we do that ourselves and just go to selling the property.
Wasn't one time GMA doing this sort?
Yes, they do it. Okay, anything else you need to present, Madam Attorney?
No, we're ready to go.
All right, okay, yeah, all's done. We got a motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Or we take care of that? Okay, Ms. Bennett, while you're there, why don't you continue with our environmental garbage pickup contract?
I emailed to each of you today the final approved version between the city and Ryland for the contract for collection and disposal of solid waste. Both Carl and I worked with representatives from Ryland to put this together, and it's one of those situations where we've had a lot of give and take on both sides, but I think we're all pretty happy with the final draft. It protects the city and protects the contractor and lays out exactly what we expect from Ryland as far as our solid waste collection and disposal services. So I know I got it to y'all late, but we were up to the last minute making revisions on this contract, but Carl and I are both happy with it, and I hope that y'all had a chance to review it.
I'm glad to see that we changed the, no, I don't see that. Have we got the provision, I thought I had read that. Have we got the provision in this contract so that these outlying areas outside the city, if we go out, if Ryland enters into an arrangement with them, that we can go pick this up?
Yes, it's in there.
Okay,
It's under section 1.6.
okay, I thought I saw it one time, but I'll look back where I thought it was and I didn't see it.
And the
Okay.
rates for the outline area are on Exhibit A. We got rates for inside the city and for the outline areas.
Okay, good. I knew that we'd talked about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I move that we approve the Ryland contract.
Motion made that we approve the Ryland contract. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Griffin. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'll
Here, you oppose it? Okay. Make sure the record indicates that Mr. Johnson is opposed to the contract. However, the motion carries. All right. Okay, where are we now? 8. 8. Or do we need it? Huh? if needed.
We need it.
We need it?
Yes, we do.
All right, Mr., you may want to make that motion.
Make a motion, we go into executive session.
Is there a second? Second. Second by Mr. Johnson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be gone for a little while.
In a while, we're gonna be in a while. Yeah, Cole.
Only there.
Entertain a motion that we go back in regular session.
So moved.
Moved and by Rainey, seconded by Johnson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Griffin, would you give a report of our session?
As a matter of record, there is no action to be taken for executive session at this time.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson?
So moved.
Mr. Johnson moves that we adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, third, fourth. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
How you gonna take?
You're hard.